All right, hi, I'm Courtney, and I'm a recovering people pleaser. Okay, so this is a recovering people pleaser meeting. This is when you say, hi, Courtney. All right, so hi, I'm Courtney. I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Hi, Courtney.
Thank you. All right, so how did I know that I was, and honestly still am, a people pleaser? I can look back at times and remember my chest being tightened when someone else is sharing an opinion and it's different than mine, and I focused more on understanding them, and I stifled and swallowed my own feelings and my own opinion down. One time I cried because I had two different social plans and I couldn't decide which one to go to. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. And it was such a struggle for me that instead of going to either one, I went to bed. My first panic attack happened 6 months into my first job out of college. For 4 nights straight, I slept maybe 2 hours a night. Because I did not know how to set boundaries. All right, this is a story that we're going to jump into a bit more. Let's zoom in here. At the time, I was working as a leadership consultant for my sorority. I was in a new city, visiting a new chapter every week. I was bringing best practices from one group and bringing it to the next group on scholarship, sisterhood, and recruitment. Honestly, I felt like I was living the life. Until we are in Miami. We're at the University of Miami. I'm helping them run the biggest sorority recruitment that I have ever seen. We're talking 2,000 potential new members, about 6 times the size of anything from my previous experiences. All right, I know everyone here doesn't understand this reference, so if you're not familiar with Panhellenic recruitment, it is a marathon. It is logistics, emotions, conversations, decisions, all packed into 3 very full, very long days. Our headquarters also put some pressure on me that, hey, Miami's really important. And I got a special phone call specifically to acknowledge that Miami's really important. Here's when things started to fall apart. The group's advisor calls, she's not coming. The group's recruitment coordinator calls, she's not coming. And then comes the question, is that okay? Yeah, of course it's okay, I got it, it's fine. Without hesitation. Because what else was I supposed to say? No? It truly didn't even feel like an option in that moment. So I stayed up with the students every night, carrying the weight of something that was never actually mine to carry. Telling them, go to sleep, don't worry, I've got it. And then staying up to finish everything myself. I told myself I was being a good leader. I told myself I was being supportive. But really, I had absolutely no idea how to say, this is too much. I didn't know how to let something be imperfect. I didn't know how to not be the one who held everything together. By the last night, my body quite literally just gave out. I was exhausted, I needed to sleep. But instead, the adrenaline and anxiety had me running around campus in the middle of the night. And for y'all who don't know, all of you, I am not a runner. So that's when I really knew that something was wrong. Here's the thing that I understand now that I didn't understand then. It was never my job to do everything. It was never my job to take on their responsibilities. But at the time, saying yes felt like the only way to do my job well. Now, I'm not here to pathologize the version of myself that says yes to everything. I have a lot of tenderness for her. I love those parts of myself. I love the parts of myself that want to be everything for everyone, that wants to help everyone. And that part of me really gave me a big life. I met my husband because I said yes to moving to Denver after college without any game plan of an actual job career that I was going into. We fell in love in Cuba because I said yes to going on a trip with someone I'd only known for 2 months. And I'm qualified for the current job that I have now because I said yes to doing additional work when there was a hiring freeze for leadership education. This isn't a story about how yes ruined my life. It's a story about how yes built an absolutely beautiful one, but also exhausted me. I'm still learning that boundaries are not rejection, my own or others. They're direction. They're how I choose a life on purpose instead of trying to be everything for everyone. Because the hard truth is, I can't do everything. There's limited time and energy in a day, in a week, in a month, and every time I say yes to something, I'm also saying no to something else. My rest, my peace, or my opinion. Okay, so now what? How did I get from people-pleasing to recovery? All right, so when I think about what's helped me to start saying no, there's 3 things that really come to my mind: values, capacity, and goals. If you walk away with anything from today, those 3 things: values, capacity, and goals. Let's start with values. Every single decision we make can be tied to a value. Another homework piece: pick a random decision as you leave today and trace it back to at what point you made a values-based decision. And when I look back, my life choices really do make a lot of sense. I joined a sorority because I valued community. I moved to Denver without a job because I valued belonging more than stability. And when my dad worried that my tattoo might turn off a future partner's family or a future employer, my response was immediate. I said, I don't want to be in that relationship, and I don't want that job. That's because I value openness. I value being myself. Because here's what I didn't realize for a long time. I wasn't making decisions based on my own values. I was making decisions based on people's reactions to my decisions. And those are 2 very different things. Because when someone asked something of me, my decision-making process sounded like, will they be disappointed? Is this going to make things more difficult? Are they going to like me? Not, does this align with what I actually value? And that's the shift. Because when you're clear on your values, saying no doesn't become easy, but it becomes clear. It gives your no a reason. It turns I can't into I'm choosing not to because this matters more. It turns I've got it, don't worry, everyone go to sleep, I got it, into whoa, hold on, actually, I can't hold all of this on my own. And that's the difference between people-pleasing and decision-making. All right, next is capacity. I said no for the first time at work the other month. I've probably said no in other contexts, but the no to something big and potential. I teared up. My supervisor got me a tissue, and he said, that was really hard for you. And he was right. It was really hard. He wanted me to teach a new class in the fall, one I want to teach eventually, one I'm excited about, one if we add another section, we can take care of more students in our program. But it's also one that would help in future promotion opportunities. But here's the thing about giving birth 9 months ago. I'm now afraid of nothing, but protective of everything. I know I could have pulled that class together this summer. I know I'm capable. But I also know that I have other projects that need my attention, and teaching this is outside of my current job description. I would not have had the time I wanted to really learn the material, make it my own, and give students the experience that they deserve. And that's what capacity has taught me. Being able to do something is not the same as having room to do it well. The third thing that helped, we got values, we got capacity, we're going to goals. All right, goals. So goals, direction, where are we going? What are we doing? What do I actually want my time, my energy, and life to be building towards? Do I want to order takeout every night? Yes, absolutely. Am I going to? No, because I really want a chicken coop, and I want to save up for a chicken coop so I can be more self-sustaining and so she can have more animals to play with in our backyard. Before I decided to make any sort of yearly goals or really focus on goals, everything felt equally important. Every ask felt urgent. Every opportunity felt like I should say yes. And that's the absolutely perfect environment for people pleasing. Because if everything matters, then nothing gets filtered. Now, especially in this season of life where I have a young child, I have work that matters to me, in limited time and energy, I ask a different question. Not, can I do this? But does this move me towards the life I'm trying to build? And if the answer is no, or even not really, it gives me something to stand on. It turns, this is a great opportunity, I should say yes, to, this is a great opportunity, but it's not for me right now. Before, my goal was to not let anyone down. Now, my goal is to build a life that I can actually show up for. Values tell me what matters. Capacity tells me if it's possible. And goals tell me where I'm going. And together, those help me decide when to say no. Thanks, y'all.